Good morning. I wanted to go over with you guys today ways that you can create value. Now, you should have watched the video on value to get a better idea and get some really awesome examples of what value is and contrast. But we're actually going to be creating our own value scales using a couple different techniques, okay? So today, what I want you to work on at home is to hatch, cross hatch, stipple, scumble, blending pressure, and layers. And you're going to do this with a pencil. If you have colored pencils and you want to try that too, you can. Even if you have crayons, go for it. All right, so hatching is this one right here. And you're going to notice that this is a single direction line, okay? Lighter values are created by less lines that are farther apart, and darker values are created by more lines that are closer together. Now, the hatching, you're going to see, I'm going to do just a few lines here. We want to be able to see that there are distinct values as we go along. So we should have a light, a medium, and a dark. Now, as I'm creating these lines, I'm picking my pencil up and I'm just going in a single direction, okay? The more I do, the darker it's going to look. Now, if I squint my eyes and I can see that I have a light, a medium, a medium dark, and a dark, then I've done a really good job on my value scale. If when I squint my eyes I feel like one needs to be a little bit more defined, then I can go back and I can work on it. So that is how you how you hatch. Now, crosshatch is similar, except for it goes in two directions. So here, just going to do a few, and then I'm going to crosshatch just part of it so you can see the difference. As I go, I'm adding more lines. I kind of like to say if you double the amount of lines you have, at least, then you're going to do a really good job of creating your value scale. You can see how when we go over that, the opposite direction, how that creates another level of layers and how it makes that box look like it has a darker value. There you go. Stippling's really fun. That's this one here. And it actually lends itself really well to meet markers and, I apologize about that, and paint. Because it's simply creating dots. You can do this with a pencil or with a colored pencil. It's just a little bit more time consuming. So all I'm doing is making little dabs and little dots all over. And remember, the more dots there are and the closer they are together, the darker it's going to appear. Okay, you can kind of get the idea. All right. Scumbling is also really fun. It's basically the fancy schmancy way of saying scribbling in art. Let me do this with a pencil. So the more scribbles that I have, the darker it's going to look. The more that I overlap them, again, the darker that it's going to appear. And it's kind of a controlled scribble. You'll realize that as you go, you'll kind of develop your own method of scribbling. You'll probably figure out a rhythm, and you'll notice that you start to make like the same marks over and over and over again. So that is scumbling. All right, pressure and layers basically has to do with the way that you, how much pressure you use. So if I use a really light pressure, I'm going to get a light value. If I use a heavier pressure, I'm going to get a darker value. So what I tell some people a lot of times is that the way that you hold your pencil will determine how well you add pressure to your work that you're doing. If you are a naturally heavy-handed person, holding your pencil near the eraser is going to give you lighter pressure. If you're a naturally light-handed person, holding your pencil closer to the graphite or where you have your mark making is going to give you better leverage to make a darker pressure. So the less layers we have, the lighter our value is, and the more layers we have, or the heavier pressure, the darker it is. So what you're going to do today is you're going to create 2 sets of scales using 2 different mediums, a pencil and a colored pencil or a crayon or whatever you can find at your home. If you have any questions, just give me a call. Enjoy the process.